So today we're going to talk about the Essential Graphics panel. And you'll see that I've made a little sequence here with some stock video that I found on Pexels. And so if I want now to maybe put some titles over this, let's head over to the Effects workspace. You see the Essential Graphics panel has come up here for us, and it's got two tabs here, Browse and Edit. And the Browse tab comes up by default, I suppose. And there's a bunch of templates in here. We can scroll through and take advantage of those if we need a little jump start. But if we want, we can just, go ahead and use the title tool to just click in here and start typing. So if I were to say, call this part water, I suppose. And then I'm going to switch back to my selection tool. So now I can take this text item wherever I want. But let's go over here to the Essential Graphics panel. And now you see we're on the Edit tab because once I selected a title, that is once I created it here, it automatically switched over to the Edit tab. And so you'll see below it here we've got some layers. There's only one layer right now, but we can select it. And just like in Photoshop or in Premiere, clicking here you can toggle the visibility on and off. Now let's take a look at our text item here because it's out in this water and we can barely read it because it's white. So let's take a look down here at some of the properties. We're going to ignore some of this stuff up here and go right for the text properties. We can choose the font size. Actually, let's make that a little bigger so we can tell what we're doing here. But the color maybe does not stand out, so let's make it a different color. But actually, let's make it match the scene. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool here. Click on this and choose and if I click here, maybe I don't get the value I want, but I'm somewhere in the right neighborhood, so I'm just going to take this down here and choose, I don't know, something like that for our fill color. Boom. Well, we still can't read it. We've made it darker, but the contrast just isn't there. So let's add a stroke or an outline, you may think of it as. And let's make that outline or stroke black. We'll change that to black. And let's increase it by clicking and dragging to the right. We can scrub through values. Anytime we see blue numbers, we get this icon whenever we hover it over it, we can always click and drag to scrub the value in a positive or negative direction. Okay, now we can see our text just fine, and let's come back over here to the timeline. We will go ahead and make this the same length as the video that it's over, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a title now for this shot, which I guess is just Earth. So we could say it's Earth. I'm going to go back to the title tool. You know what? I'm lazy right now. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to hold down Option, and I'm going to drag it up here like that to the next track. I still have Option held down, and you can see it's going to make a copy when I let go. So now I have this again, but now I can just change it to suit what I want. And maybe actually this time I want the text over here. And we should change the color perhaps to something in the scene. Perhaps like somewhere in here, maybe? Yeah, all right. We'll do that. And then, of course, we need to change what it says. So we can grab the text tool again and edit the text. to say Earth. All right, now I'm going to grab my selection tool again and just make sure that's where I want it. And I've made it the same length as the video. So again, I want another one, but this time I guess it's going to be fire. And I'll just start again from here. Maybe I want to do something else this time. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to type fire. And you see it has retained the style of the last piece of text that I edited. So let's see. Now we cannot see it. Let's change this to yellow or something like that. Much brighter. Okay, now maybe it shouldn't be right there, but we'll put it up here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's put this one up one track and make sure that it's the same length as the video of the fire. And then one more time, we can grab the text tool and just click where we want the text to be. And this time, I guess we're talking about air moving around as the wind blows. So that's air. Maybe over here. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't look terrible, but I think that we should change it to maybe a green or something we can find in here. There we go. And we'll brighten up that stroke a little bit. Nope, that's never gonna work. We should never do that. Okay, let's check it out. All right, and then this can come up one track also, and we will extend it to match the length of the grass blowing clip. Okay, so if I want to use keyframing to automate the opacity value to match the cross dissolve of this footage, I can come to the Essential Graphics panel, and next to the opacity value and the slider for it, I've got this little toggle switch, which will allow me to set a keyframe on that value, on that frame. And then if we come over here to the Effect Controls panel, we can see that the opacity keyframe has been made. And if we were to scroll to the beginning of the clip and come back over here and then change the value down to 0 while this is still enabled, you see that a second keyframe has been made here. And if we scroll forward, we see that the title animates on. Okay, so now we can go ahead and do this for the rest of the titles. So in addition to the type tool, which there is a vertical type tool as well, if you want to create text that is in a column, we can use the pen tool to freeform create a spline-based shape, or we can choose a rectangle or ellipse tool to create a vector-based shape with fill and stroke properties just like our text had. And you'll notice it shows up here in the layer stack just like you see in Photoshop. In fact, as in Photoshop, you can drag these around to rearrange the order. And now I've got a background to my text layer, and it's all within this graphics clip. You can also animate properties about the text or the background layer. Let's say I want to animate the position. I enable keyframes, and I move forward in time, and then I change the position, by clicking and dragging the value, or just by moving it around in the Program Monitor panel. And here you can see the motion that we have created. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. There's tons of possibilities out there.